Welcome to the Growth Mindset Book Podcast, Mindset Mastery chapter by chapter. I'm Michael Fox, best-selling author and expert mindset coach, and your guide on this transformative journey. Here, we don't just skim pages of the most powerful self-help and mindset books ever written. We dive deep, sometimes just a few paragraphs at a time, to truly understand and apply their life-changing principles. Each episode builds on the last, so if this is your first time here, I encourage you to start episode 1 of season 1 and follow along as we explore every corner of these timeless works. Together, we'll study, reflect, and unlock the tools you need to master your mindset, overcome limiting beliefs, and create the life you've always imagined. So grab your book, a notebook, or just a favorite drink, and let's dive into today's insights. Your journey to transformation starts now. This week, we're going to do something really special. I was on a podcast this week from an incredible coach in Tunisia, and she brought me on her podcast, and we discussed gratitude. And we did another great podcast a few episodes ago on gratitude, and I thought this would be a terrific fit and a great podcast. So enjoy this podcast, and I look forward to seeing you next week. But in the meantime, enjoy this.
This is not going to be just a conversation about leadership or career development. This is a conversation about listening to the still, small voice within, listening to what Michael Fox calls the whisper of God. I'm honored to welcome Michael to the show, a spiritual teacher, coach, and the author of this powerful book that has already changed a lot and so many lives, including mine, since I read it. Today, we will explore how listening to divine whispers can lead us to the right path, to the right career, to the right decision in leadership and in life. Michael Fox, welcome to the call. Hello, Michael Fox. Welcome.
Nabila, this is really a wonderful moment for me. I don't know if anyone knows, but thinking how long we've known each other, and we really started this path and journey years ago together. It's just such a beautiful thing to watch your growth, to see all the lives that you're impacting and affecting. And it's just a pleasure to be here.
I love it. I mean, our story of how we've known each other and how our paths crossed. There was a time where Michael, myself, and a bunch of other people were meeting every day for more than probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
Like literally in a mastermind, but that's good for another episode. Michael, this is all about that absolutely amazing book that starts with the title of the book is The Whisper of God, and it begins with a powerful invitation. You didn't find this book by accident. Let's begin there. Can you explain what it means to truly hear the whisper of God and how that whisper can guide someone to feel stuck or lost in their professional life?
Yeah, I will. And I'll tell it through a story because it's a true story. It happened to me, which was when I was younger and I was about to go into college. I wanted to be a teacher. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach kids and help kids and make a difference in their life. And I had this knowing inside that was what I should be doing. However, this stuff in my head started happening. And what it told me was, you can't make enough money doing that. How are you going to have a family? How will you have a career? So instead of doing what I knew was the right thing for me to do, I wanted to please everyone else and go in a different path. And so I shut that voice down and I didn't do what I knew in my heart was the right thing to do. And that kept happening for years, even when I became a financial advisor and I was helping people. And I love the fact that I was helping people. There was still this yearning inside to be teaching and helping people more on a spiritual level. And finally, I listened to the whisper. It took me many years to listen, but I did listen. And I actually stopped my career as a financial advisor and said, that's it. I went through a tough time myself. I found this information. It helped me so much. And once that happened, I said, I must share this with other people and spend really the rest of my life doing that. And I feel like if I do that, then at the end of my life, I can look back and say, I absolutely did what I truly wanted to do. But the interesting thing is, and I think for everyone that's listening, is we all have this knowing inside of us. And unfortunately, sometimes what happens is this thing here, our mind, our ego takes over and starts to talk, and it tries to convince us why we shouldn't do that. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources. All the stuff that's all the stuff that came up for me. So maybe we can start. Here's the thing. What I've found is that when you listen to the whisper and you act on the whisper, everything works exactly as it should. And you get from point A to point B, in my opinion, way faster than trying to figure it out up here. So that's what it is to me. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. This is coming full circle to teaching. Like you followed what everybody was telling you. Money is in finance. Money is in selling insurance. Money is in, but teaching, look at these teachers. They are stuck and they are not going anywhere and la, la, la. And then you beat everybody and say, yeah, teachers are not, they're stuck. They're not paid enough. How are you going to have a family with being a teacher? And look, even Jack Ma, the one who owns Alibaba and AliExpress and which is the biggest shop online, he's a teacher. So it's just the concept of teacher in our mind that makes it, oh, they don't earn enough, or it's just a statement that we've been taught, a story we've been taught about this or that keeps us going. I'm delighted you are going full circle into teaching and teaching the stuff that we really love. One of the themes that stayed with me reading your book is gratitude. And in your book, Daniel learns that gratitude is a gateway to divine guidance. How can ambitious, high-achieving women stuck somewhere, they feel there is a glass ceiling above their head? No, you cannot be VP. No, you cannot be CEO. Women are not supposed to be CEO. Women cannot be CFO. How can women in positions like this start embodying this kind of transformative gratitude in their day-to-day careers? Because gratitude has such a powerful and miraculous effect. Tell us more about gratitude.
Yeah. So it's interesting. What happens for most people is that we have these thoughts that go in our head and they just keep going and going. I've got this meeting. I got to hurry up. I'm stressed. I'm feeling this. This conversation starts to ensue and it takes over. We're having 65,000 thoughts per day, right? So a lot of them are the same, but they're going on and on. So the question is, how can we slow that voice down? How can we silence it so that we can be first way more peaceful, feel a lot better, and then most importantly, be able to tap into the power that's already inside of us, right? There's this power that's amazing, which is somehow, Nabila, our heart is beating consistently. Like it just beats. We're not doing anything. You're breathing in and out, even while you go to sleep. Somehow, miraculously, that's working. All these cells in your body are doing their thing. We have all these organs in our body that are functioning. How is that happening? that part of our being, the subconscious, which is, I think, our connection to God or divine or higher power, that's running the show. So if that part of us can handle operating our whole body, our breathing, our blinking, everything that we do, is it possible that if we turn our mind, that chatter, over to that place, that maybe that place will get us to where we need to go in a much faster way? So the way to do that, in my opinion, is through gratitude. It's the way we quiet our mind is just to say thank you. Okay? And it could be thank you for everything. We could just say thank you for me being able to breathe right now. Thank you for me being able to stand up and walk. It's the thank yous for all the things that we already have. And when we do that, we're making that connection. I just want to tell this one story because I feel like this is really powerful. Your daughter, right? Imagine you go to your daughter and you go out and you buy this gift that she really loves, right? It's something that like you spend a lot of time thinking about this. You wrap it up, you put a bow on it, and you give her the present. And she opens it, she looks at it, and then she just pushes it off the table and shows no appreciation or no thanks for that. Now, here's the question for you. How likely would you be to get her another gift in the near future if she did that?
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely. Why is it? What did she do that kind of would make you not want to do that? Hey there. I hope you're loving today's episode of the Growth Mindset Book Podcast. If this show has been inspiring you or bringing value to your life, I'd love your support to keep it going strong. You can buy me a cup of coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Michael Fox Coach. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com/Michael Fox Coach. Your support helps cover production costs and lets me keep sharing this incredible journey with you. Thanks for being a part of the community. And now let's get back to the episode.
She wasn't receptive to it. She wasn't thankful for it. She didn't allow me to I want to gift it to her, and she just rejected it. So it's very unlikely.
It's very unlikely. But she didn't show appreciation. She didn't show thanks. So that's you being the parent for her. Now, if we look at God as the parent for us, and we're walking around with all these incredible gifts that God or the higher power, divine, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. But that higher power has given us all these gifts, and we're walking around and we're pushing them all off the table and not showing appreciation for them. But if we show appreciation for them, what do you think that higher power might do?
Oh my God, will shower us with its blessings and
Yeah, that's it. And so I believe that connection that we make through just living, not making a gratitude lists are fine, but it's living in gratitude. Not in the morning, I'm going to say 3 things that I'm grateful for. That's a great start. Don't get me wrong. But we want to live there. We want to be able to, in good and bad times, be able to say, what can I be grateful for in this situation right now? And again, we're not going to be perfect at this. It's practice. And sometimes we may not do it for a week. But when we realize we're not doing it, then we practice and we do it again. Soon, by practice and repetition, it becomes a part of our being. So that's really the gratitude that I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
It does, big time. I remember a time myself in the corporate where it's just go time, meetings back to back, skipping lunch, and all of these things. We all have been there. And it's like a life on the hamster wheel. It's like running, and it's never ending. And then one day I started questioning that. And I said, what is it that is missing here? And it was just the more you do, the more you get of the hustle. And I was looking at that as I was proud of being busy and having a hectic life and so on and so forth. Until one day I started questioning that. So the idea for corporate women is that wherever you are in your career, in your life, in your journey, and if you can just avail yourself a moment to stop spinning your wheels and look around. And I look around and there's a beautiful window here with amazing trees. And it's an amazing, gorgeous day, sunny and full of blessings. And I'm here in my beautiful home. And then all of a sudden, you start looking at things around that you've been taken like for granted. Yeah. And the moment you start giving thanks that these things are in your life in the first place, because we don't need to wait until they are taken away for us to start seeing their value, but we can start looking at where you are, even the job that you want to leave, if you are grateful enough to the job that the fact that you have currently a job, even though you want to move, it's going to shorten, as you said earlier on, shorten your move to the next better one. And it's not by being resistant to this job that you don't like, by being not so grateful about where you are, that you are going to speed up the process to the next one. So it's actually sometimes we are so caught up in the mechanical way of doing things that we sabotage the gateway to our own freedom, which is gratitude. And I always say, appreciation is the master key to manifesting, to getting anything you want in life. It's simply that. Michael, this is so good. Many of our listeners are in careers, for example, that no longer serve them, but they are stuck the mortgages and the loans, and they cannot leave because of the kids, because they have to put this on the table. But they are afraid to pivot. So how does your book speak to that fear, to that decision that logically we cannot afford? If we leave it to our logical mind, it's going to say, no, Nabila, like many years for me. It's no, Nabila, you cannot leave this good job. And actually today I wrote an article on LinkedIn says, why did you leave your very good position? People ask. That seems to be the logical question. So to come back, how can women or people in general trust the timing of the next move? What can they specifically do to pivot and trust that voice that's whispering them that it's time to let go and move on, and they will be taken care of by divine order, so to speak, by something bigger than a strategic plan?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Right?
It's such a great point that you're making. And it's something that stops most people, is that fear of what if, how will I make this happen? And there's no decision that's been made. And so we stay in this lack of decision, and we're constantly, our mind is going a little bit nuts, and we're living in this fear of what if I want to do it, but I can't do it. And the mind is going crazy. Again, that first step is key, which is to start being thankful. Hey, I'm thankful that I even have the opportunity to think like this. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to have the option to have this job and potentially leave it to go do something else. There are a lot of people out there that don't have that. So again, that's making the connection. Once we make the connection, I think the next step is we got to really be clear on what it is that we want, right? Easier said than done. Like, someone could say, I want a lot of money. And then the higher power says, okay, here you go. And they give you a certain amount of money. But it didn't, that higher power, the source, the subconscious that we're turning it over to, it needs to be really clear on what you want so it can deliver that. And I think one of the big issues that most people deal with is they're not really super clear on what it is they want. And it's just a matter of taking out a piece of paper and writing down. And even if it takes a week, 2 weeks, a month to really get clear on what you want, that's fine. But just start the process of getting clear on what you want. Because again, we've made this connection through gratitude. Now we've got to say, okay, God, this is what it is that I want. And we're asking for what we want. But again, we need the clarity of that picture of what it is that we want. Once we have that clarity of the picture and we ask for it, again, we got to keep our mind quiet through living in gratitude. And then the magic occurs. You don't have to make anything happen. You'll get a thought that pops in your mind. You'll be sitting on the train and you hear a conversation behind you, and they happen to be talking about something that relates to exactly what it is that you've been thinking about. You watch a movie and you go to that movie, and at the end of the movie, something happens and it inspires you. Those are the whispers. They're happening all around us. The problem is when we hear the whisper, if our mind is going crazy and we haven't gotten it to quiet down, we're going to miss the whisper. Have you had that happen where you get a whisper, you like, this is the thing I know I should be doing. And then your mind just goes, it just misses it. And then years later, you'll say, I remember I was going to do that. And then I never did it. And you say, I wish I would have done it. And meanwhile, we missed out on that time period. But that's okay because we learn and we grow. And the point is to say, okay, I'm just becoming aware of this process. I'm aware of what's happening. And then we just start to practice it. There's no perfection. No one's the best at this. We get better at anything by practice, period.
That makes sense. Practice makes perfect all the time. When you were talking about how we need to listen and especially get clear on our goals and get specific on our goal. A few days ago, one of my previous clients sent me a slip of paper, which is like a doodle thing. It's a scrambled paper like this. She said, Dr. Nabil, I found this paper, like she was moving or something, and I found this paper and it's written in there, salary of 75,000 riyals, which is the Saudi currency. Position, General Director of Development and something in 2024. She said, by the life of me, I am exactly that now. I had goosebumps. She said, this something, she said, if I did not find this piece of paper, I wouldn't remember that. But once a year, maybe a year, less than a year and a half, and she's in that. And that's the number she mentioned on the slip of. She said, I so much didn't because I was telling them about the C-type goal. And she said, okay, I'm going to write what she says, a C-type goal. So she put 3 times what she was earning at that time. And she put 5 levels above where she was. And within a year and some, there she is in that exactly same position with that exact same salary. She said, if I did not find this piece of paper, I would have forgotten. I forgot that I wanted it like a year ago. And this is so powerful. And she said, you know what? This did not happen by working harder and putting more hours. And so she said, I did exactly what you told us, which is gratitude. We did a 30-day challenge of gratitude. We read the book, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and we did the daily work. And she said, I was chilling out, but in chilling out, in connecting with who I was, I started feeling grounded. And then this happened. She says, what was naturally? I didn't engineer anything. What say you to this, Michael? This is so...
I say that is the secret to life, which is just... Our goal is how do I quiet my mind so I can just connect to the place that's already doing so many amazing things? It's healing our body on a daily basis. Like, why would we try to figure it out when we have this power that's inside of us? And everyone has it. That's the most incredible thing. Like, the answer isn't out there. The answer doesn't exist out there. It's right inside. Now, sometimes we need people to help us see that we are the ones that have that power inside of us and how to tap into it. But there's no magic that exists out there. There's no magic pill. People who say, what's the one thing? It's just becoming the authentic version of yourself, which is there's sometimes, I remember when I was younger, I went to this new elementary school and I used to have a big, my hair was really big, like a big afro. Right? And I was at school the first day. Now, at the school that I went to before that, I got along with everyone. We had such a great time. We were all great friends. So here I am at this new school. And at recess, they all come around and they stick their hand in my hair and they're like messing it. And I ran home. I literally ran from school because it wasn't that far. I ran to my house and I said, I'm not going back. And at that point, I put on this mask of, I got to people please. I got to make other people happy. I can't be who I truly am because if I am, people will make fun of me and people will make me feel like I just felt. And I think, again, the secret comes back to is how do we get ourselves to go back to who we really are? And if we live the authentic version of ourselves, everything will work out. Problem is, most people are doing things in their life that aren't truly what they want to be doing. And they're wondering why things aren't working out. It's because we're being constantly guided to come back to who God made Nabila, God made me, God made everyone listening to this to be a specific person, not for me to be like you and you to be like me. No, we're gifts here. We're put here to be ourselves. And again, unfortunately, because of all the programming that occurs, we start to believe that we're not good enough and we're not smart enough and all the other belief systems that come in. And it's funny because the rest of our lives, we go back to trying to be who we really are on the inside. And if we can break through that, I think that we win the game of life if we can do that.
Big time. Asking the right questions. Talking about questions, Michael, there is, as we literally are bringing this show to a close, there is a beautiful moment in your book where shift the question from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me? That really hit home. How can this kind of question change or question reframing, how can it change the way women, people in general, navigate their career path, their leadership path, and respond to workplace challenges? So take it in the context, okay, my boss is micromanaging all the time. Why am I with this boss who is micromanaging? Why is the environment toxic? Why? So how can we reframe the questions from why is this happening to me to what is this teaching me? That's a big shift, right?
It's a big shift. Using this analogy, if you were to go open up Google in your browser and you wanted to find out information on a new car, would you type into that search something about a dog? And the answer is, of course you wouldn't, because if you type in something about a dog, what's going to be served up is an answer to your question that you're asking Google. Our subconscious works the same way, right? That part of God that's inside of us, whatever question we ask it, it will give us an answer. So if I ask, why is this happening to me? Why is my boss micromanaging me? And I ask from that perspective, I will get a lot of answers. Unfortunately, those answers aren't going to serve me. So instead, what I could do is I could ask a more powerful question is, what can I be grateful for in this situation? How can I learn? What's one reason why this might be happening to me? And how can that, again, take me to a higher level? Everything's happening for a reason and purpose, but it's how we look at it, which is the point that you're making, right? The questions that we're asking, that's going to, depending on the question we ask, we have this Google inside of us. It's going to serve up the answer to us. So if that's the case, just like in Google, if we would type in a specific question to get an answer. We want to do the same thing inside of us, because that's exactly the same thing that's going to happen. And I hear it all the time. People are always saying, why is this happening to me? I don't understand. If you ask that, you're going to get a lot more feedback on that. And it's going to take you in a negative loop. And ultimately, unfortunately, you're not going to get anywhere with that. So it's reframing exactly what you're saying, which makes all the difference in the world. Because then you'll get the best reframe to me is, what can I be grateful for in this situation? No matter how bad the situation is, there's always something we can be. Even if someone was in the hospital with cancer, right? Thank God I have the opportunity to go into this person and be there and give them love. And in other words, there's always something. The question is, are we going to search for that, or are we going to focus on, why is this happening to me? Because why is this happening to me isn't going to help the situation.
More of the same. So no wonder the person is like, why am I attracting only micromanagers or boss who are all the time I wonder what kind of question they put in Google.
Why are they always micromanaging me? Why? That you'll get more answers of why. And then your focus will be, your glasses will be on looking at every single thing they do that micromanages. How can I learn this? How can I grow? How can I become better because of the micromanaging? Maybe it's going to help me become stronger and better at this thing that I'm doing. Maybe I don't know everything, and maybe I'm going to learn something from it. Right? It's just looking at it from a different angle. That's it.
Absolutely. With gratitude, because even some of my clients get sometimes like this at me and they say, what's good in it? They say, Nabila, there's nothing good. And I say, what's good in it? So there's good in the bad and bad in the good. There's always something good. And God will never put you through something unless it has something. There's something in it for you. There's something. So ask, what's in it for me?
Can I just tell one quick story about this? Because
Sure.
It's quick. This is a true story. There was a gentleman and he needed to get on a flight, and because he couldn't miss the flight because he had a very important meeting he had to be at. Okay. He runs through the lobby, runs out the door, and ends up tripping and falls down the step and breaks his leg and ends up going to the hospital and misses his flight. When he's in the hospital, they put the TVs on, and breaking news, the airplane that he was supposed to be on blew up upon takeoff, and everyone on the flight was killed. Now, you think at first, before he knew that fact, do you think he was grateful that he missed that flight?
Fuming with anger, he must be. So that.
And the thing is, like, in that scenario, you can clearly see why he would be grateful, but potentially we can't necessarily always see what's happening. I'm driving a car and there's a person in front of me and they're driving really slow and I'm getting really annoyed, but maybe that's preventing me from being in a car accident down a little bit further down the road. I can't see all that, but we can be grateful. I'm grateful that I'm being slowed down because maybe I'm trusting there's a higher power that's taking care of me here.
God's plan, always better than
Always.
Absolutely. So at the end of the book, Daniel becomes the guide for someone else. And
Yes.
It's a beautiful full circle moment. What would you say to our listeners who feel they've heard the whisper, they had it multiple times, but don't know what to do next? They get the whisper, they get the nudge, they get the voice, they get the small voice that's telling them, do this. It seems illogical, and they're stuck. They don't know what to do between these two voices. So how do they move from awareness to alignment to taking maybe baby steps, but still courageous steps and action?
Yeah, I think you just said it perfectly, which is once you hear the whisper, then the last step, which is the most important step, is you have to act on it. As soon as you get it, just act on it. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to start off with the whisper that you're going to quit your job but start with smaller things, like build upon it slowly and get the confidence in that it actually works, which it does work because that voice inside of us is always leading us down the right path. And the way that we know it's that voice is it's not a whole dialogue and conversation. It's not trying to talk us out of anything. There's no dialogue. It's, I have a feeling like you should do this. It's just, it's a message. You got it, you know it, and there's no dialogue that happens. Then we in our mind can start a dialogue. But again, it's hearing that voice or hearing that message and then taking action on it. And we just keep practicing and practicing. And when we get confident because we really see that it works, then we can start practicing it with some bigger things. And then we realize the power all along actually existed right inside of myself. And all I had to do is tap into it. But again, that takes practice. And no one initially most people don't believe that they have that true power. But again, we're going to build it by practice, and then the confidence builds. And then suddenly you realize, wow, this is really right inside of me. And then after that, the key is teaching it to other people. Once it's working for you and you know it's working for you, there's other people that are struggling too. And we can be the light for those people and help them see it and help them grow. And like for the women that you're talking about that are running these big teams of people, when they get this message, sharing that with their team or individuals on their team and making differences to those people, that's only going to make their firm and their business that much stronger because everyone's operating from this very powerful place.
Talking about sharing, Michael has been so gracious as to offer this an amazing book, The Whisper of God, for free. So if you want us to share a copy with you, DM us God or Whisper of God, and we will make sure we send you a copy graciously offered by Michael Fox, who is the author of this beautiful piece. Michael, this conversation was more than insightful. I, for one, enjoyed every bit of it, as always. Thank you so much for reminding us that careers, life are not just about roles and about doing and about promotions and about getting something more, getting more of whatever we want. It's more about, first of all, reaching that place of alignment with that part of you, that your higher calling, your truth. And to our listeners, if you are hearing a whisper, I think Michael is going to tell you, don't ignore it, sit with it, follow it, let it guide you. Your most aligned, fulfilled career or promotion or upgrade, whatever it is that you want, isn't something you force, isn't something you struggle for, isn't something you hustle for. It's something you allow. Michael, what say you to this?
I think, again, we're right in alignment. It's allowing. And that's the key. It's like you don't want to resist. You don't want to force. Think about when you've done this in your own life with anything. When you start resisting something or you start trying to force something to happen, it just doesn't work. And sometimes getting into that quiet space of being grateful and getting onto that frequency of gratitude, then suddenly these thoughts and people and ideas just magically, it's not magic. We're operating on a different frequency. We're picking up a different signal, and therefore life starts working a lot better.
And it happens. Now we're bringing this to a close, Michael. What if you tell us a little bit about the people you work with and where could people find you if they want to reach out to you, Michael?
Yeah, I guess the best place, the people that I work with, my niche is really financial advisors, as well as they're called RVPs, specifically at insurance companies. So they're salespeople within the insurance, like large insurance companies. And the best way to reach out is just go to the website, which is michaelfoxcoach.com. And on there, if you do want to ever have a consultation, just free consultation, you get on the waiting list for that, and would love to have a conversation. And again, love to spread this to as many people as possible. And Nabil, I just want to say to you, thank you for being a light to other people and spreading this gift to so many people. We were talking earlier and you had mentioned how many conversations you've had over the years. And I was thinking to myself, that's incredible. Think about all the people that you've actually impacted with those conversations. And everyone listening, you have the ability to do the exact same thing, which is to have a conversation with someone else and to be that person in their life that makes a difference. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you, Nabila, and I'm grateful to be here.
I'm so grateful for you, Michael, coming on my show in here, the Quantum Leadership Hacks. And until last few words, if you want to say something, otherwise they can also find you on LinkedIn as well. I think you are also, you have a page on LinkedIn as well if they want to search for it as well. So I'll make appointment also can do that, which is putting michaelfoxcoach.com and your name into LinkedIn. They will find you, right?
They will. I think if you search Michael Fox Coach, you'll find me too in there as well. But yes, correct.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you search for all those hardworking women that are listening in. What I can tell you is that Nabila is amazing at what she does. And I'm not just saying that. She didn't even know I was going to do this, but I'm just telling you, she's incredible at what she does. So if you're watching this and you've been thinking about maybe I should do this with Nabila, we've been talking about a whisper the entire time. This is the whisper. This is the whisper. And the key is now to take the action to set up time with her, because this could be the moment that literally changes your life. And again, the whispers are all around us. The question is, are we listening and are we acting on them? I hope many people reach out to you, Nabila, because I know the power that you have inside, and I know how you really help people. So let's keep helping lots of people.
Thank you so much. Likewise, Michael. This has been so good. Listen, everyone, we hope that this has been an enlightening conversation. If you get the whispers, you know what to do now. This is your sign. This is it. If you've been looking for a sign, this is it. So until next time, keep leading, keep listening, and keep living in alignment. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, have a great day, everyone. And Michael, as always, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nabila.
Bye.
I hope today's episode inspired you to take one step closer to mastering your mindset. If you're ready to dive deeper, visit michaelfoxcoach.com. Again, that's michaelfoxcoach.com for more resources, insights, and ways to connect. While you're there, don't forget to join our free community shown at the bottom of the website and connect with others who are on the same growth journey. Let's keep growing together, and I'll see you on the next episode.